I am now called a Taiko-shin, or an ancient deity among the deities, but I was born in Izumo as the first complete human being in Japan about 48,000 years ago. As you can see from my profile on the left, I am here as an avatar to share with you about the essence of the universe, the divine spirits, and human beings. I am happy to have this opportunity. There are significant reasons for this, so I hope you will watch the videos to the end and truly understand the purpose of the deities. There are many people who worship gods. What are they worshipping in their hearts? This may seem like a ridiculous question, but we must first start from this point to know gods. Someone says, I want to be cured of my disease. I want to make money. I want to have my worries and doubts corrected. Most of the people worship God with these personal desires. However, there are a rare few who pray for the safety of the nation or the development of society as a whole. Most of them try to connect to gods as individuals because they have clearly recognized God's existence in their hearts and are fully aware of their powers. But here is the problem. When we tell these believers the truth and main activities of the gods as well as the inner workings of the world, curiously enough, they do not become deeply interested. In this way, people today, while clearly recognizing gods, even if only roughly, are unable to grasp the truth of gods, which is necessary for the full effect of their faith. When we talk about the truth, they wander with doubt. Here is one important point. How on earth do you interpret the concept of thinking? This is something that you must know in order to know the power to know gods. So let me touch on this point. To begin with, when you think about things, it is a matter of first seeking something and then determining how you can determine it, or a matter of awareness. In this case, the mind that first seeks some goal is the instinctive consciousness that preserves you. In contrast, the mind that fully judges the goal and decides on it is the function of your rational consciousness. This rational consciousness is your most important consciousness that judges the right and wrong, good and bad, when your mere desires and instincts move you to seek something. It is the activation of your inherent high spiritual power that keeps you alive as a human being. It is this spiritual power that lies behind reason and is the true power of you. This spiritual power is expressed as reason. In your daily lives, if this power of rational consciousness is diminished, only desire will grow unlimitedly, and eventually the excitement of desire will destroy your body. In this way, the power that leads you to the greatest happiness and health is the activity of this power of reason consciousness. The activity is expressed in the form of sincerity or wisdom. To think correctly is based on the correct and unclouded operation of this rational consciousness. If the desire for self-preservation and the consciousness of anxiety are at work, you cannot understand things correctly. Now, let us return to the main issue. Today's believers, while acknowledging gods, not only do not fully know the truth and workings of gods, but if we talk about these topics, they only deepen their doubts and fall into a labyrinth. Doubt is what makes you see red as peachy or brown, white as grey or black. Doubt is explained in more detail below. The power to know gods refers to your high spiritual power, reason, sincerity, and wisdom. Gods are known to all through the power of unclouded spirituality and reason. This power of reason consciousness is always connected to the power of God consciousness, as we will discuss later. Let me focus on the issue of doubt here because doubt can be very damaging to your life. It is almost impossible to eliminate doubt from the world, and it is an essential way of thinking to assess things. If doubt were eliminated from today's social life, it would be akin to honesty makes fools of us all, and doubt would never be let go. However, without a certain scale, there are many instances in which doubt prevents you from deciding what needs to be decided, and instead you end up lost and confused. Therefore, doubt must be limited to a certain extent. Since doubt is such a troublesome thing, it is necessary to examine the source of doubt. Doubt is, in other words, a feeling of anxiety. It is not anyone else's anxiety, but your own. In other words, it is a doubt about yourself, wondering what you will do next if you frankly accept a certain thing. It seems to me that the source of doubt is yourself. That is absolutely right. It is a product of the self. Then, why do you produce doubt from yourself? First of all, it is because of the self-conceit that you have in common. This is the cause of the disaster. Egotism is a temporary feeling of self-importance, but it does not have a definite root. In other words, this feeling is a function of the human ego. It may seem strange to say that the ego and doubt are related, but at the moment of doubt, the ego strongly works on its own. A strong ego is interpreted as a strong belief, but it is not a strong belief at all. The ego suppresses this anxiety. This also causes the ego to work harder without you being aware of it, and eventually it becomes the ego of selfishness, which clouds and diminishes your ability to judge things correctly and honestly and to reason, and finally it pushes your selfishness to the limit. This is the phenomenon of exceeding the limits of doubt. Whenever ego, selfishness, and self-preservation occupy a large part of your mind, it diminishes your ability to reason and clouds your critical eyes. This is why intense doubt is a source of self-doubt. Doubt is insecurity, and it is the growth of ego and selfishness. Excessive doubt diminishes your ability to reason, confuses your correct judgment, and plunges you into a world of darkness in which there is no help. If something is not clear to you with your limited knowledge, you must first listen to it fully and frankly, with a blank slate, before questioning it. Then, when you have finished listening, ask questions about what you don't understand for further clarification. This is the best way to avoid raising more doubts than necessary, and the best way to understand and recognize things correctly. This is the only way to properly use your spiritual power and rational consciousness, and it is the power to infinitely improve and develop yourselves and build a happy life. Nothing can make you more foolish than excessive doubt. In order to enhance your spiritual power and rational consciousness, and to make them work properly and unclouded, excessive doubt, anxiety, and ego are forbidden. This is also the basis for a proper human life.